So hello and welcome in to our basement and seed starting center. I'm Tommy, this is my dad John, and we just wanted to start off by saying thanks for all the positive response yesterday. We've got about 25 friends all across the country who are really interested in starting gardens, and let me tell you, we just cannot wait to see all those gardens get started and all that food being grown. So yeah, please, if anyone else out there wants to start growing some food in their own gardens during this time, we are happy to help, and it is more than enough reward just to see everyone doing that. But based on popular demand, we also wanted to start doing a series of tutorial videos on our little methods of how we do things, to our little tricks and eccentricities that help in seed starting and other sorts of things that we'll do in this growing process. So here we are. Today our first demonstration will be starting seeds. As I said, later on we'll also do stuff about how to tear up lawns and plant a garden and other things like that. But we'll start at the very beginning with the germination. So today we have a special treat. We're going to start with some of our very favorite hot peppers. These are called Carolina Reapers, and I've got 3 of them here. And they're dried out. They're from last growing season. And so we're going to crack into them. And we're going to get some of these seeds out. And we're going to try to germinate them. So we'll show you our process for that. And
we got a lot of seeds in there.
Yeah, you can see now. I'll tilt down here. We're just cracking into these. Now, for most of you guys, you're going to be starting with seeds from a packet or something, and just smelling these are actually the world's hottest peppers. So just smelling these, me and my dad are starting to get a little sniffly over here. We're definitely going to want to wash our hands after this, because the oil is just brutal. But you can see, yeah, we've got about hundreds of seeds here just from those 3 peppers. And back behind us, you can see, I'll show you real quick while my dad's doing that. All of these plants we've got here, we've got some tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, peppers down below here, lettuce, all under our grow lights. And all of those have been started from seed using the method that we're about to show you. So it does work. And my parents have actually been using it since the early 1990s, and it's something that they learned. Dad, I don't know if you want to.
Well, one of the principles of the method is, and it's not particular to us. It's a well-known method, so we're just illustrating something that's well-known. But, well, I guess fairly well-known. But what you do is essentially start the seeds in vermiculite, and that gives you a real reveal on what is going to sprout and what's not. And so the initial phase, sort of step 1, is that starting of the seeds in vermiculite. You see the little teeny sprouts. And from there, you go into they call it a dibbling process, or just removing each seedling. We usually use a sharp pencil or something like that, and just real careful. Sometimes a little teeny screwdriver is helpful, and just tease out those seedlings from the vermiculite, and then pot them up into a growing mix in all kinds of pots. Back to my son here.
You're getting a little ahead of us, Dad,
Okay.
Because we'll show another demonstration on the second process after they've germinated. But first, we'll show you with the vermiculite here. So this is vermiculite. It's basically, Dad, it's from
I think there is a rock out there called mica, and it is, at any rate, vermiculite itself is probably similar in formation to that rock. But the bottom line on vermiculite, it's very absorbent. And
it holds moisture very well, which is exactly what you want. You want to keep your seeds really moist in germination. Moist and warm are the 2 most important things. So,
and one of the things about warmth, it can be a little tricky to do, but having bottom warmth on your seeds is, that what you see behind us really does give more top warmth when you've got the seedlings up. But for germination, bottom warmth is wonderful, something, and one of the old tricks is to many times, if you check out the top of your refrigerator. Now, I don't know about new, very ecologically conservative refrigerators and stuff, but
I think
which is a good thing. I mean, energy conservation is always a good thing. But you can check it out and feel on top of your refrigerator, and if it feels a little warm up there, you're not gonna feel hot. But if it feels a little warm up there, maybe a good candidate. A lot of that's an old trick to put the plate like this once we've got it done, to place it on top of the refrigerator, even if it's in the dark.
Again, Dad, getting a little ahead of us.
Yeah,
we're going to show that later in the video as well.
Yeah.
So this is our first tutorial, and it's unplanned, but we will continue doing them and getting better. So, but anyway, back to the lesson here. We've got our plate. We've got a vermiculite. You can get vermiculite from any local hardware store. If you call ahead to your Ace Hardware, they'll let you pick it up out on the curb, which is what we've done actually. And so you get your vermiculite. You can get some styrofoam plates, and then you see I've got about 30 seeds here, and I'm just going to sprinkle them lightly over the vermiculite. And Dad, you can help me grab some seeds and sprinkle here. And this plate is going to be really cool. So Carolina Reapers are a really interesting thing, a good Google search, but they were first breeded about 5 years ago at North Carolina State University, and they're a cross between habaneros and ghost peppers, and they're about twice as hot as ghost peppers, I think. They're 2.1 million Scoville units, and you do not want to eat these things raw. You barely want to eat them at all, actually. But they're pretty cool to grow, and you can definitely spice up your dish with just a little bit of these peppers.
Definitely a little bit goes a long, long way. So less is more with these peppers.
Now, since they're crossbreeded with the Carolina Reapers, with the habaneros and the ghost peppers, we actually may end up, from some of these seeds, we might just get one or the other. We might get a habanero or a ghost pepper, or we could get a true Carolina Reaper. So it's kind of a mystery here. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen, but they will germinate, and we'll see what happens. So we've got these seeds down here. Now, I like to put another thin layer of vermiculite on top of the seeds, thinner than the first layer. It's a little stuck up in here.
Got a little
Clumps.
clump there.
Yeah, so we'll
So
break
if you
it.
get little clumps, you can break those up.
Oh. And that actually may not be straight vermiculite.
I think it's going to work fine.
Yep.
All right, and sometimes we take our fingers and press the seed in just a little bit. And you use your fingertips and get it nice and smooth.
So now we've got our seeds there. We've got our vermiculite down. The last step is you want to get the vermiculite moist because, again, it holds a lot of water. So we've got a spray bottle here.
This vermiculite's so light, you can actually kind of blow it out of the pan with the spray bottle. So Tommy will be gentle first and see what kind of pressure we got. There we go.
So this is just a light mist.
So you want your sprayer set to mist rather than the jet spray.
You can see it's kind of mist in here. And you want to get it to the point where everything's pretty solidly locked in there. So there's not a lot of stuff blowing around. And then go a little bit more than that even. But you don't want to flood them. It's kind of a nice, you'll know. I think everyone's got a little bit of a green thumb in them. And so you'll know when this is moist enough to keep your seeds happy.
You don't want it soggy. A little on the dry side is actually okay. One of the things you can start to feel your plate, of course, with the weight of the water, you can feel the plate get a little more substantial. The vermiculite's light as air, but when you've got enough water, you'll feel just this sort of little more weight to it without it being totally soaked. And that's probably going to do it right there.
Yep.
And then sometimes we press in a little bit more. And then one of the tricks, if some of the seeds are actually showing, that's okay too. You can take your finger and press a few in and sort of have a little bit of variation. Don't overcrowd your seeds. What did we put, about 30 in here?
Yep.
That's probably a little much, but it will work.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do more than that. It depends on the size of the seed too, of course.
Yep, and then you just want to be mindful of when they're germinating so you can get them out of the vermiculite quickly. But the next step is you want to rip yourself a piece of plastic wrap or some other sort of plastic. I imagine even a plastic bag would work, covering the top of these. And it's just something that will hold the moisture and the warmth in there. So the vermiculite is good at holding moisture. This will make it even better. And this method is really useful as opposed to just trying to germinate in soil, because you don't have to water it every single day and keep it at the perfect moisture level, because it'll just stay at the same humidity in here the whole time.
There is with any seedling, there is a problem that can develop called damping off. It is something where your seedling will suddenly sort of wilt over, and like the name says, it usually is caused by too much moisture. So what we want to do in that case, to kind of avoid things like damping off. First of all, if you see seedlings that have damped off, it's a good idea to remove those and not let that get into the other plants.
Now, Dad, again, you're getting ahead of us, because that's going to come more once you pot them up too. It's not going to happen so much in this germination phase. We will have another video which will explain more of the potting up phase.
However, it's even important at this phase to think a little bit on the dry side. So think a little bit. You don't want a lot of sogginess. It's a balancing act, but you don't want a lot of sogginess. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, err on the side of moist but not wet, I would say. And now I'm just labeling my plate here. Carolina Reapers, hot, caution. And you can put the date on it too, so you remember when you germinated them. And now for our final step, you can see we've got our plate plastic wrapped, Carolina Reapers hot. For our final step, we're going to find a good place to get that bottom heat like my dad was talking about earlier. So if you'll travel with us here in our seeds, here in our basement in Iowa, and you can see we've already got one plate up here. We're actually going to go, the refrigerator works very well. We're going to go with right on top of our water heater here. We've got 2 plates of seeds up there. And, yep, so it should be about, different seeds take different amounts of times to germinate. But in about 3 days, we should be able to check back, and we'll start to have some sprouts showing. Now, there's other methods to germinate too. You can do it directly in the soil, but like I said again, you're going to have to keep it very moist. And many plants, such as squash, arugula, radishes, green beans, which we will plant directly outside in the ground, so we won't have to start them inside. Things like peppers, tomatoes, and eggplants are the most important things to start inside before your growing season. So yeah, please let us know what you think of this video. We're going to keep them coming with the next things. But yep, that's our basic method on seed germination. Take care, y'all. Happy gardening.